Okay, Ricky, so now that you know how to plank, it's time to learn how to push. The push is going to start to put a lot of other movements into place for us, so we really want to nail this one right. So we're going to spend a little bit of extra time within the push itself. The push is really interesting because it's essentially a moving plank, but we now have to learn how to manage the shoulder and how to manage the elbow while we are becoming that moving plank. So what I want to do first is I want to break apart the push, and we're not going to use a lot of load to make this intense. So we're going to reduce the resistance to decrease the intensity and just focus on good movement so that we can learn what right looks like and what right feels like, okay? So what I want you to do first is get into our push-up position on the box. And first thing we need to do is we need to reset and find our plank. So everything we remembered in the plank. So can we create our alignment? We can use our 3-point drill again. So very good. We're looking for those 3 points of contact. Can we create some tension? I'm going to apply some warding. Good. So now we're turning on that tension and breathing and owning that position. Thinking about fogging up glasses and not blowing out birthday candles. Good, so now we have a really nice plank, so that's telling us we're ready to move. So just show me what our first push-up looks like. Okay, so now we have a good baseline. One of the things that I saw, so go ahead and take a rest. One of the things that I saw was we had a little bit of what we call the scarecrow fault, where we kind of come out into this position here. We kind of look like a scarecrow. So I want you to think more of an arrow versus a T. So come back into this position and I'm going to walk you through it. So find our plank, reset. Now I want you to think about taking a half a step forward without moving your hands, keeping that plank, put those hips down, give me apples, not applesauce. And now I want you to put your shoulder blades into your back pockets, rotating this elbow pit forward through here. And I want you to think about stealing stability from the box as you're coming down and bringing those elbows closer to the body as you lower. Very good. And then pop back up. Good. Make sure you're owning that position and breathing all the way down and up. So we're a moving plank at the top and the bottom. Turn those glutes on every single time. Make sure we're not losing that plank and you're breathing through that movement. So give me one more and up. Very good job. So those look super great, and now we look like we're ready to go ahead and bring that to the floor. So we talked about how we're going to use resistance to be able to make something more intense. Now we are going to bring you to the ground, which is going to increase the amount of load and make this a little bit more intense. So can we maintain those standards as the conditions change is going to be our challenge, and we really want to make sure we're connecting the dots on the drill that we just did into an exercise that's going to be a little bit more challenging. Okay, Ricky, so now that we learned how to find our push, now we're going to actually challenge that movement and challenge that position by increasing the load and making this a little bit more difficult and see if we can maintain those standards even though we've changed the conditions. So what I would like to do first is I'd like to see what your push-up looks like to set a baseline, and then we'll work through that to be able to see what we might need to work on and if we have any blind spots or things that we might need to improve on. Okay? All right, so go ahead and show me your push-up. Just give me one good push-up here. All right, so that looks pretty good, but what I want to do first is I want to address our hand placement. So go ahead and lay all the way down for me. Hands right in front of our body. And this is going to be a race, okay? As fast as you can. I want you to come back up to push-up position in 3, 2, 1, up. Good. So what we should see here is we should see those wrists fall just behind the shoulders, building a really nice position and base of support for our upper body. So let's make sure that we're thinking about that plank standards again. Good. You nice spreading the strength through here. Turn those glutes on for me. And then go ahead and give me one more push-up down. Very good. And then all the way up. So that looks super fantastic. And I want you to think about pressing the earth away as you come up and maintaining those standards. Last one. All right, good job. Go ahead and come on back. How did those feel? Good. So you did a really good job of connecting the dots from what we talked about earlier and making sure we have a nice vertical forearm, keeping that hand placement in a position that's going to make everything nice and stable and help us set our shoulders. And you're able to really steal strength from the ground by really spreading the floor. You did a good job of maintaining your plank at the top and the bottom and making sure that we didn't lose our glute engagement throughout that entire movement. So whenever we're doing any pressing moving forward, especially in this kind of forward-backward pattern, I want you to connect the dots and remember what that felt like, because that's going to be our standard for the press anytime that we are working on that movement.